family who worship Buddha as part of the culture. They do not consider themselves to be Buddhist though, but they worship all of these idols just because their ancestors was doing the same thing. However, they kind of do believe in someone that is higher than them. So when I was in elementary school, my dad, he used to drink a lot, and that's part of our culture that the man was drinking, and no one gonna tell them that, hey, drinking is a bad thing to do. So my grandfather passed away. In my culture, when a person passed away, sometimes they will wait to a certain time to bury the dead body. They don't bury right away, and then they leave the dead body on a bed, and people, they can go to the house to share the sorrow with the family of the dead person. I was sitting next to my grandfather's dead body at that time, and I was holding his hand. I remember I was telling myself that I believe in the hereafter. The hereafter is real. And I believe that there's destiny and there's a higher power. When I was 17, I moved to the US to study. I started to hang out with some Christians. So my friends sometimes was asking me to go to the church with them. And of course I go just because I was curious at that time. I was 17. For the first time, I heard someone directly and bluntly talking to me about God. When I was back home in Vietnam, people talk about destiny. People talk about the higher power. They talk about someone called the sky, the sun, but they never talk about God directly. But since I was young, I always believed that there must be someone who's managing this life, managing my destiny, creating my destiny. So when I heard about God, I was excited. I was interested in knowing more. I decided to become a Christian first, because that was the only religion that I know at the moment that talk about God. So I was in Vietnam. I never met a Muslim in my life. There was no mosque in the city where I live. It was a small town. I was traveling quite a bit, but for some reason I never met any Muslims when I was in Vietnam. I did not make friends with any Muslims when I was in California either. On top of that, if someone asked me whether Muslims eat pork or not, I have no clue. I did not know that Muslims do not eat pork. I did not know that a Muslim girl is supposed to wear hijab. That is how little knowledge that I know about Islam. But alhamdulillah, because of that ignorance, I did not know about the bad things that the social media say about Islam either. Now, one of the first impressions that I have about Muslims was Muslims do not compromise their values for less. And that is something that I have huge respect and admiration for Muslims. Let me give you an example. I saw a person ordering pizza. He said, "Hey, can you make the pizza clean cut?" I was like, what do you mean by clean cut? All of the pizza are the same. But then after that, I came to know that this person just did not want to have any of the fat of the pork from pepperoni to get into his pizza. Just that small detail that make me feel that, subhanAllah, a Muslim really believe firmly in what they practice, and they do not want to compromise that.
So I was intrigued by that. I came to know that Muslims also worship God. They just did not worship Jesus. I started to see how Muslims pray their prayer, they bow down to God. And subhanAllah, before I used to think that, if a person bow down to God, that person is weak. But when I see a person stand up and pray, and they make sujood to God, I respect that. I respect and I see that that's actually a strength of a person to consistently doing that every day.
So within 6 months, I was reading and watching a lot of videos about Islam, asking a lot of questions. One day, I went to this event where they served some Vietnamese food. As usual, I just pick it up and eat because that's what I growing up eating. So I picked it up and I realized that, there's some pork inside of the food. And I spit it out. And remember that I wasn't a Muslim that time. So I was like, okay. And I went home and I thought about that. I was like, you know what? That is interesting how I react to that. Maybe there's something changed in my heart. I made the dua that time. I prayed to God and I said, God, if Islam or Christianity is the right way for me, please guide me. And so about the same day or the next day, I came across a video where Jesus was hanged on the cross and he said to God, God, why you forsaken me? And I was talking to myself, look, you're a Christian now. And this video was made by a Christian. In this video, Jesus was talking to someone else. He was asking God to save him, to rescue him. And if Jesus was God, who is he talking to? And this video, it was not even made by a Muslim. And because of that, alhamdulillah, I ended up accepting Islam. Because I know how Islam was very strict on the concept of God. How Islam always talk about worship no one but Allah.